ladies and gentlemen.
Today I want to share with you a perspective that might surprise you why kindness will ruin you. Yes, you heard that right. In a world where we're constantly told that kindness is a virtue, I'm here to argue that being overly kind can actually lead to personal ruin if it's not balanced with self-awareness and boundaries. Now, before you start questioning everything you've been taught about kindness, let me clarify that kindness in itself is a wonderful thing. It connects us as humans, makes the world a better place, and helps create positive relationships. But what happens when kindness becomes excessive? What happens when being kind turns into self-sacrifice, a lack of boundaries, and ultimately self-neglect? That's when kindness stops being a virtue and becomes a pathway to personal ruin. Let's explore why. 1. People will take advantage of you. First, let's talk about how kindness, when given without limits, often leads to being taken advantage of. Many people out there, whether intentionally or unintentionally, will see your constant kindness as an opportunity. They will rely on your generosity without giving anything back. You'll find yourself constantly lending a helping hand, offering your time, and giving your energy without any reciprocity. When kindness becomes a habit, people come to expect it. The more you give, the more they'll take, and soon enough, your kindness will become a resource they feel entitled to. Think of it this way: if you're always saying yes, when do you have time to focus on your own needs? There's a fine line between being kind and being a pushover, and when you cross that line, people will start exploiting you. 2, you will neglect your own needs. Next, I want to talk about something crucial: self-care. When you're constantly putting others first, who is taking care of you? There's this idea in society that putting yourself first is selfish, but the truth is self-preservation is essential. If you're always focused on other people's problems, emotions, and needs, eventually you'll burn out. You'll start neglecting your own well-being. Your mental health might decline, your physical energy will deplete, and you'll end up feeling emotionally drained. In the process of being endlessly kind to others, you'll forget to be kind to yourself. And that's where the real danger lies. A life where you consistently neglect your own needs in favor of others is a life where you will eventually crumble. 3, kindness without boundaries breeds resentment. While kindness seems like it should lead to happiness, kindness without boundaries often leads to resentment. Here's how it happens: you start by giving, feeling good about it. Over time, however, you begin to realize that you're the one always giving while others just keep taking. The scales become unbalanced, and deep down, resentment starts to build. You might not express it right away, but internally you start feeling frustrated and taken for granted. That resentment will poison your relationships and your view of yourself. You'll begin to ask, why is it that no one considers my needs? Why am I always expected to be the giver? This internal struggle can erode your sense of self-worth, leading to emotional exhaustion and bitterness. 4, you can't please everyone. Another trap that excessive kindness sets is the idea that you can somehow please everyone. The more you try to be kind to everyone, the more you'll realize that it's an impossible task. Someone will always be unhappy. Someone will always feel like you haven't done enough. No matter how much of yourself you give, someone somewhere will criticize you. When you base your self-worth on how well you please others, you set yourself up for failure. The weight of others' expectations will crush you, and the constant attempt to meet those expectations will lead to feelings of inadequacy. Eventually, you'll discover that you've lost yourself in the process of trying to make everyone else happy. 5, the danger of losing your authenticity. Lastly, and perhaps most importantly, kindness without limits can lead you to lose your authenticity. When you're constantly focused on being kind, you might start to suppress your true emotions and opinions. Maybe you disagree with something, but you're too afraid to speak up because you don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. Maybe you feel angry or upset, but you keep it inside because it doesn't align with the kind persona you've built. Over time, you become a shadow of yourself, afraid to be real because it might not be perceived as kind. You start living a life that's not your own. You sacrifice your true self on the altar of kindness. And what's the result? You're left feeling hollow, disconnected from who you truly are, and ultimately unhappy. The solution: balance kindness. So what's the takeaway here? Should we all stop being kind? Absolutely not. Kindness is powerful and the world needs more of it, but the kind of kindness that leads to ruin is unbalanced. It's kindness without boundaries, without self-care, and without an awareness of your own needs. The solution is simple: be kind, but with balance, learn to say no when necessary. Set boundaries. Protect your time and energy. Take care of yourself as much as you take care of others. Be kind, but don't sacrifice your authenticity in the process. You can be a giving, compassionate person while still being true to yourself. Kindness shouldn't ruin you, it should uplift you, but that only happens when you practice kindness in a way that honors both others and yourself. Remember, you matter too. Thank you.